If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode? Episode 186.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, we have some amazing tips for all you Etsy sellers out there. If you've got an Etsy store but aren't selling enough product, this episode is for you. All this and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
Hey, how is everyone doing? Greetings from the little studio in Dallas, Texas. I am your host, Mark Mason, and I hope you are having the most fantastic day ever. And if you're an Etsy seller, I'm going to try and make that day even better for you. I get this question all the time. Mark, how do I make my Etsy store more successful? And while I can give general marketing advice to help Etsy sellers, and I often have over the years, I'm not an Etsy seller. So I thought, what better idea than to get a real live, reasonable Etsy seller, someone who's really done it and can really talk about what it takes to have a successful Etsy store. It's more straightforward than you might think. So we have Sharon Tseung in the house. I absolutely love her, and I think you will too. And not just because she's an amazing Etsy seller. I think you're going to love her because of her amazing motivational and inspirational success story. So without further ado, let's get to Sharon and see what she has to say about selling on Etsy.
Hey, don't touch that dial. It's time for another fantastic guest on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Yep.
Okay, Sharon, I am so excited that you are here. And I want to ask you one very difficult question. Was I the most annoying and difficult podcast interview for you to schedule in your entire life? Yes or no?
No, I mean, it was fine. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, we've been talking about this since when I saw you at FlynnCon, right? Is that right?
Yeah. It's been a while actually, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's great. So I was so excited. We talked at FlynnCon. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff here, but I was so excited because so often I have so many different kinds of internet marketers in my audience, and so often I get questions about Etsy, and you are one of the most successful and I think creative Etsy sellers out there. And not only that, but you've got a really solid approach that a lot of people can use. You've got an Etsy course. You used to work at Google. I mean, you are the right person to talk about what people should do about their Etsy store. So I wanted to get you on so we could talk about some Etsy. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for talking me up like that.
Oh man, I'm just people are going to be so jazzed when they hear everything that you have to say. But I want to talk a little bit about the bigger journey for a while. So, a lot of people know about you. You went to Berkeley, you landed the big job, and then you decided you really wanted to do this freedom lifestyle business thing for real. And what I love about you and your life philosophy is you're the whole package. You're not the flashy Ferrari, go fast on the beach girl. You're all about like financial responsibility and teaching that and talking about that with your audience. You talk about how to make money online and those kind of things with your audience. And you've got kind of you're very real. And I love that about you. And I know that you've gone from being a wild world traveler to being a little more settled. And I wonder if you could just kind of give us the condensed version of that whole journey, because I think it's so fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. So, I've been in digital marketing for like 7 years now. Basically back in 2014, I did this month-long solo Europe trip. And I think I saw a lot of people, living their dreams and like being very passionate about life. And, I guess I was inspired seeing all of that, and I wanted to see more in life. I had been in the Bay Area for so long. It kind of inspired me to look into financial freedom a lot. So I was looking up a lot around passive income and like stumbled upon the whole concept of being a digital nomad, which means you can work from your laptop location independently wherever you go. So I was like, okay, I want to make this a reality. So I started trying to build passive income streams, and Etsy was actually the first one I started building, and I was able to kind of quit my job and travel the world for 2 years while building like a bunch of different passive income streams. And I blog about it on digitalnomadquest.com, where I started with like from zero, and I was starting to document it even before things worked out. So I tried to kind of keep it real and like document my whole journey and teach people, the things I learned from pursuing these passive income streams. So I came back last year, and I'm back in the Bay Area working in marketing again, but also kind of building my brand on the side, and still teaching people how to build passive income, because that's still kind of my passion. So
yeah, it's super awesome. Can you put me in that moment? Because I'm, a lot of people, I think, do what's expected of them in life, and they're just kind of on autopilot, and they're not really in touch with what they're, you talk a lot about getting in touch with your true self. And can you put me in that moment where here you are with this like world-class education from Berkeley? You're working for one of the greatest companies in the history of the world, and you decide to take off. What's that all about? I mean, what was that like?
It was scary for sure. Like no one around me was doing anything similar, but I just felt like I've been here for so long. I'm, working 9 to 5 every day for years. And I was just like wondering what else is out there. And I knew that if I didn't do it, I would kind of regret it and just always wonder. And I feel like it was like a good time for me to do it, because I was like mid-20s, and I didn't have like a family to take care of, and it could be a risk I could take. I also thought it could be like financially responsible in a way where, like traveling to cheaper countries while building your businesses and stuff actually works out pretty well, because, in San Francisco, rent's like $1,500 a month with roommates maybe. So like if you live by yourself, it's like $3,000 or more. So just like living like is like rent costs are extremely expensive. But when you're abroad, like I only spent $1,400 a month, like for everything, including accommodations, flights, like food, entertainment, everything. So I just realized it could be financially responsible, and I could see the world while I'm actually like trying to build these businesses and actually build my nest egg. So even when I like left, I took 3 part-time remote positions before I really transitioned to passive income, because I was trying to be very risk averse and kind of like methodical or whatever.
Sure.
Am I saying
methodical is what you're looking for, but I got you.
There we go. Yeah. So I was trying to be smart about it, and I think it worked out really well, because I was able to take that risk, see the world, and actually build passive income along the way.
No kidding. So like you saw the world, and by the time you got home, you were making $6,000 a month in passive income or something like that, right?
Yeah, December 2018, I was able to hit that figure. It's still kind of like waivers and stuff, but Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Okay. So let's switch gears, because that's thing one that blows me away about you is sort of the integrity that you have around knowing who you are and acting on that and doing and the way you run that is very inspiring. Here's thing number two that freaks me out about you. When I think about Etsy, I think about people in their spare bedroom making bracelets out of glass beads and selling those on Etsy. Your Etsy store is a freaking beautiful digital marketplace. That is just bizarre. I didn't even know until I heard about you. I didn't even know you could sell digital products on Etsy. Can you tell me how that all went down and how in the world you're such a talented graphics designer?
Yeah, so basically I was kind of doing some research around passive income streams. I came across like Kindle books, I came across drop shipping, Amazon FBA, blogging. I feel like Etsy was kind of a more hidden one. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I knew that, I had that Photoshop graphic design background. So I wanted to see how I could try making these different templates. So basically I make Photoshop templates and Microsoft Word templates for people, and I list that on Etsy. And it's great because you don't need to like stock inventory or ship orders to people. You can just have these digital files living on the platform. So I realized it was a pretty passive means of doing this business, and so I tried it, and it actually started working. So I don't know, I just somehow stumbled upon it, but it like fit kind of my skills and strengths.
And you have, I think, almost 400 products or something like that on Etsy. And they're beautiful. I have to tell you, independent of everything else and your business acumen and all that, you are a damn talented graphics designer. I mean, your work is amazing. And so if people want to see your stuff on your Etsy store, how do you get directly to your Etsy store?
Yeah, so etsy.com/shop/Shalex Designs. So SHALEX Designs. And you can find me over there.
Okay, that's awesome. So now what my listeners are interested in is the fact not just that you have an Etsy store, but that you were able to make it successful. So as far as, actionable content, I was wondering if I could squeeze out of you, because I know you teach Etsy store stuff and you have Etsy store knowledge, and I want to try and squeeze some of that out of you. What would be, your top couple, 2 or 3 tips for the people in my audience who are trying to have success on Etsy, but they're just not getting the traffic? They don't see the growth they need. They're not having the success they want yet. What do you tell people like that? What should they be doing?
Yeah, so I think the first thing before you even start is you need to kind of think about what your shop's going to be about. So I think that's kind of in all businesses, right? You want to like stick to a specific niche, because if a customer buys from you, they want to kind of feel like you are the leader in that niche. But if they don't know what your shop's about because you keep posting like different listings and stuff like that, it's just going to throw people off, and they're not going to like want to come back, right? But when you find someone who's like specialized in like wedding cards or something like that, it just makes them feel like, oh, you're an expert at this, I want to come back to it. And then part of that also is you want that cohesive branding. So like your cover photo, your logo, your author page, your tagline, your shop name, they should all kind of fit one cohesive like branding. So you want to make sure maybe the colors you use are similar. You want to make sure your tagline describes exactly what your shop's about. In your author page, you want to tell your story and make it kind of like interesting to people, like they kind of understand your passions around what you're doing in your shop, and just make it so that they understand what your shop's about and they want to come back for more. So I think that's like my first tip, like that cohesive branding, people understanding what your shop's about.
Okay, that's awesome. And so it's okay, like in what I'm going to say regular internet marketing. That's not really fair, but we talk about the riches being in the niches, and people are always telling you to niche down. That advice apparently, as you say, applies to Etsy as well. And and along with that niche down presence, you need the good branding to go around that. I'm just curious because I was surprised that digital products were an Etsy niche. What's an Etsy niche that you've come across in your travels that kind of surprised you? Is there one that stands out to you where when you first saw it, you were like, whoa, that's a really odd thing to be selling on Etsy?
Yeah, I mean, one of them I can think of is like maybe like real estate marketing. I wouldn't have expected that on Etsy, but like that's kind of the beauty of it, that there's so many different opportunities, right? When you think of digital downloads, you might think, oh, I need to like have that graphic design background to be able to sell on Etsy for digital downloads. But in reality, like if you are skilled in a specific niche, like if you have a lot of knowledge in, for example, it's like real estate, right? Like maybe you know a lot about real estate investing, you can create tools for them. So like maybe a property analysis spreadsheet or something that people can use as a template, or things like that. You can be very creative with it. So it's a matter of like sticking to a specific niche that, maybe people wouldn't expect it, right? But you have something to offer because you have that specific experience and skills. You can create something unique that the Etsy marketplace can benefit from. So yeah, that would probably be one of the more strange ones that I had seen, but they actually get sales.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that. So that it definitely is exactly the kind of thing I was talking about. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, you got a second one for me?
Yeah. So I definitely think you have to like prioritize SEO. So SEO is like search engine optimization, right? So Etsy has its own kind of algorithm. And one of the things you want to make sure you do is put your keyword in your tags, but also like in your titles, exactly like that. So maybe you want to rank for a rustic gold wedding card or something. You want to make sure all of those words are in your tags as well as in your titles exactly. So I wasn't doing that in the beginning, but when I learned about that, started adding a bunch of those tags in the titles as well. And that started like doing a lot better with traffic, because you want to make sure you're ranking well on the marketplace and appearing at the top so that they stumble upon you.
Now, when you say search engine optimization in the context of Etsy, you're actually talking about the search box in the Etsy marketplace and not necessarily Google search, or are you talking about both?
I'm talking about Etsy specifically, but another thing you can do is actually use like Google Keyword Planner. So in Google Ads, you can go into Keyword Planner and then look at certain keywords and see what their monthly search volume is, because likely the amount of volume on that is going to be similar to how they would search on Etsy as well, right? So it can appear for Google SEO as well, but I think the main thing you want to focus on is within the Etsy marketplace. You want to rank on there.
Right. So I'm looking at one of your products right now, and it's a mini session template for photographers in the fall. And the title is very keyword rich. The title is Photography Fall Mini Session Template, Autumn Booking Ad, Fall Minis Template, Social Media Post Photoshop Template. So basically, this product is applicable to all those things, and you've got everything jammed into that title in a sensible way, and that's part of what's helping you rank in Etsy search.
Yeah, I try to put, that first keyword, I put like a hyphen, you probably see it there.
Right.
And then you see like the other ones with commas. And I try to do that to make it a little bit easier for the eyes. But I do try to populate the entire title, basically. So the amount of characters they allow you, I try to fill that up.
So it sounds like to get keyword ideas and get some sense of what people are searching for, because clearly a photographer that's looking for photo fall mini session templates probably is starting on Google. So you can use the Google keyword tool and other keyword research tools to optimize your Etsy search, because those same human beings are eventually getting into Etsy and making similar searches. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Does Etsy provide any tools regarding traffic and search engines research, or are you pretty much flying blind and using tools outside of the platform?
Yeah, so two things I do. The main ones I do is actually I go into like competitors, and then if you go into their listing and scroll all the way down, you can actually see the tags they're using. So that like helps a lot to see what they're doing and then kind of tweaking from there. A lot of them actually don't have that great of tags, so you can beat them, right? That's one thing. Another thing is when you go into that search bar, an easy thing to do is kind of just start typing in what you would expect for the keyword and then see what populates on the drop down and
Right.
see like, yeah, so those are ways to see what's most popular. I mean, another thing is also when you're searching it, you want to see like how many listings there are after you search it and see if it's like way too many, that it would be like too saturated, right? Like maybe hundreds of thousands. So another thing is you want to make sure that you go into like long tail keywords. So you don't want to just target for a wedding card because that's like way too general, right? So you want to try to make it more specific. So the kind of example I said before was like a rustic gold wedding card. That's going to be easier to rank for because it's more specific than a wedding card. So that's another tactic to do to you just kind of like play with Keyword Planner as well as that Etsy search engine bar and go into more specific keywords, see what you can rank for.
Yeah, that's awesome. In fact, we were looking at your mini session template. I see with the auto completion list, which is pretty robust. They give you a lot of things here. I see mini session templates, mini session Christmas template, mini session template fall, which is very close to the keyword that you have, mini session templates editable, so on and so forth. So I can see right away how you could get the keyword. So that's great. That makes a lot of sense to me as someone who's been doing SEO on the larger internet for a decade. That is awesome. Okay. So now I'm going to push my luck and I'm going to try and squeeze one more awesome tip out of you. You up for that?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a simple tip that I'm thinking of is just that you really need to like stock your shop. And I really noticed more sales when I hit that 100 mark. So you want to fill your shop with at least 100 listings is what I recommend to start seeing those results. So a lot of people start giving up very quickly because they're like, I'm not getting any sales. But and like the reality of it is when I hit like over $1,000 a month ish, it took like over a year, like maybe 1 to 2 years, right? So it takes time to build up to those passive income numbers. So the reality of it is you got to work hard, you got to hustle, you got to put a lot of listings up. And as you're doing that, you end up learning a lot too. So the more you learn, the faster you can do it, the better you can do it. So I just recommend stocking your shop and like learning from experience.
Okay. That is so awesome. Now, I know you've got a lot more to offer in this space. If people want to learn more about this, I think you also have a course too. Can you tell us if people are like getting really excited and want to learn more about Etsy, where should they go to learn more from you?
Yeah, so I have a course called The Etsy Entrepreneur. You can go to courses.digitalnomadquest.com, or you could probably look up the Etsy Entrepreneur and find it. Basically, I teach step by step how to make over $1,000 a month in passive income on Etsy. And what I do is basically put all of my knowledge into this course. I even teach like how to create a Photoshop template that I would put in my own shop.
Wow.
So like, yeah. So if you want to basically emulate what I'm doing, you can just get this course basically.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fantastic course. And I'm sure people will want to go check that out. How about doing something special for my listeners? Can I get that out of you too?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a code, late night 30. And if you use that promo code in this course, you're going to be able to get the course for 30% off. So, this course has everything from advanced like SEO strategies to just setting up everything in the shop, being able to emulate exactly the listings that I put up. So I teach how to do it on Photoshop and on Word. I'm also going to put one for Canva as well to do printables.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and have bonus material like social media strategies, as well as like access to interviews of other Etsy sellers. So I have a lot jam packed there, and just use that code late night 30 and get 30% off. So that's going to be available for the first 5 listeners of your podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you. That's very generous of you. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I really appreciate it. So that's really cool. Well, thank you so much. Any words as we kind of get out here? Give me some words of encouragement for my new Etsy sellers that are getting started. They're feeling a little frustrated. They're struggling and they're not sure if they can really do this. What do you tell those kind of people that are taking your courses?
Yeah, I mean, I say it with like all of my different passive income streams that you just got to keep going. Like it's an up and down journey with entrepreneurship that like sometimes, oh, it looks like it's working. And then other times like, wait, I'm not getting any sales for this long. What's going on? The important thing is to not stop at that point. You just have to keep going. You don't want to give up before that successful point, right? So just keep executing, taking action, and you actually learn a lot from just doing it too.
Sharon Tseung, you are awesome. I think you probably hear that a lot, but your journey is inspiring, and I know it will be inspiring to my listeners, and I cannot thank you enough for taking time to spend some time with my listeners. Hey, Sharon, I know that you're 44 episodes into what I hear is an amazing podcast. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I also have the Digital Nomad Quest podcast with Sharon Tseung. It basically teaches, again, how to build passive income, become financially free. And ultimately, my goal is to help you design your best lives. So it's a lot of information on travel, on passive income, on entrepreneurship. So check that out. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that.
Yeah, what I love about your podcast is it's short and sweet and to the point. You get in, you hammer a tip, you're out. I mean, the episodes are nice and tight, and it's a very efficient way to get information. So I love that. I encourage all of my listeners to go over to the Digital Nomad Quest podcast with Sharon Tseung, and I'll have a link to that and all of these other amazing links in the show notes. I hope you have an awesome day. Tell us one more time where everybody can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on digitalnomadquest.com. It's where I kind of talk about passive income, entrepreneurship, financial freedom, digital nomad life. I also have a YouTube channel. You can find it at Sharon Tseung, so youtube.com/Sharon Tseung. And if you're trying to look for my social media profiles, they're all Sharon Tseung. So.
Awesome. Sharon, thank you so much. Have a fantastic evening and good luck with all your future adventures. I know we're going to see more great things from you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed listening to what Sharon had to say, even 10% as much as I enjoyed talking to her. She was absolutely delightful. It was awesome to have her on the show. I encourage you to go over there. If you are an Etsy seller, check out our course. And if it makes sense for you, go ahead and use that discount coupon. I don't make a dime from that, but I want you to have a discount. If that's you, I want you to be able to have that opportunity to make your Etsy store better. Awesome. I am personally still working on my course, and as part of that, I've been moving over to Kajabi, and Kajabi is awesome. I absolutely love it. We'll probably talk about that on a later episode. If you've never experienced the magic of Kajabi, you can check that out at latenightim.com/Kajabi. It's a platform for hosting your course. I've used other platforms in the past, and I've kind of fallen in love with Kajabi and their support team and the people over there. They're super awesome. Like I said, we'll be talking about that more later. What I want to tell you about today is that as part of that process of getting Kajabi up and running, I've moved one of my free video courses over to Kajabi. So if the course interests you, or you want to see what Kajabi looks like as I have implemented it, you can go to latenightim.com/start. That is my free video mini course about how the internet works. It's called Build Your Own Internet Business, How to Get Started Online. Again, that's at latenightim.com/start. Many of you have taken that course in the past. I've updated it with updated worksheets and some new bonus video. So you might want to go check that out. It's a nice overview. And if you have friends that you talk about internet business and they don't understand what in the world that you're talking about, this is the perfect ground zero. You don't need to know anything ahead of time explanation of how it is that you can make money on the internet. And there's nothing for sale there. It's just a free mini course that helps people get from absolute zero to the point where they might be able to choose an internet business model and move forward with building a business on the internet. It's one of the most common questions that I get when I talk to people about internet business. They don't understand even the most basic fundamentals of how money moves around on the internet and how you might build an internet business online. This course over at latenightim.com/start answers this question. Hey, Mark, what in the heck is this internet business thing? So go check that out. Tell your friends, latenightim.com/start. Until then, I will see you next week.
You can do it right when it's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit latenightpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
So it's fall in Texas. That lasts, 5 minutes. So we have blazingly hot summer that lasts until the end of September, sometimes into the middle of August. Sometimes by Halloween at the end of October, we're still sweating and wearing shorts and t-shirts to go trick-or-treating with the kids. This year, it's turned nice, and we have a couple of weeks of fall before it turns into kind of yucky, rainy, misty, kind of cold and raining winter. We don't have, obviously, really harsh winters here in Texas. It might get below freezing a couple of days. It might sleet or snow a couple of days, but winters are mild by the standards of those of you who live up north. But in Texas, we have this winter time coming, and right before it comes, we have the state fair here in Dallas. It's awesome. It's known for its giant Ferris wheel and its crazy fair food. I don't even know what the fair food is, but it's usually something like fried Oreos or fried Coca-Cola or fried cotton candy tacos or something. Whatever it is, I can guarantee you it's fried. But I'm on a keto diet now, and I used to love going down to the state fair. For those of you that have been keeping up with my weight loss journey on Facebook, you know that I started out the year 254 pounds on a 6-foot frame, which is way too much. And my doctor was after me to lose weight. So I started eating more responsibly. I cut out sugar and most carbs. I increased the amount of healthy fat that I'm eating. I'm doing something similar to keto. And if you're interested in understanding exactly what I'm doing, you can find that over at markmason.com/keto. And I explain what I'm doing. But today I weighed just under 210 pounds, not 110 pounds. That would be too much weight loss. 210 pounds. So I've lost over 40 pounds, which is awesome. I'm very excited. But this means that at the state fair, I'm not eating fried Oreos and stuff like that. In fact, I'll put a picture in the show notes. I have a picture of me eating a giant turkey leg, which is relatively keto friendly. I don't actually know what the turkey leg was marinated in. It wasn't sweet at all. So I feel pretty confident it was a pretty low carb turkey leg, but this turkey leg's almost as big as my head. And that made me happy. I didn't eat. One of the things we have here at our state fair is a particular corny dog, a Fletcher's corny dog. They're absolutely amazing. For the first time in the history of forever, I did not eat a Fletcher's corny dog, which is super crazy. I did do the other things that we always do. I got my picture taken in front of Big Tex with my family. Big Tex is the cartoon character kind of MC of the fair, and he greets you when you come into the fairgrounds. He says, "Howdy, folks. Welcome to the State Fair of Texas." And he's like, I don't know, 7 stories tall. And then we rode the Ferris wheel, which is a huge Ferris wheel. It's not huge by London Ferris wheel standards, but it's pretty big. And we rode the cable car, and we saw a bird show, and we did stuff like that as a State Fair of Texas. It was really cool. And I also rode the Crazy Mouse roller coaster with my 9-year-old Morgan. She is getting to that age where she likes those scary rides. It's not that scary. We made a funny face. There's a camera on the ride that takes your picture when you're going down the big dip. We made a funny face while we were coming down the big dip so we could get a funny picture out of the camera. That's about it. So, State Fair, Texas, success. Didn't break my diet, success. Looking forward to losing that last 10 pounds to get down to 200 pounds, and I will declare success. Hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day. If you want to know more about my keto journey, or you have any questions about keto or what I'm doing and calling a keto-like diet, you can head on over to markmason.com/keto, or you can hit me up on Voxer at latenightim.com/Voxer. Ciao.
Late night internet market.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me in 2007 when I was trying to get started. There were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet. And I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation, send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet market.